Hi everyone, my name is Della Phillips. I'm an artist as well as I'm known as the Bicycle Lady. How you doing today? I'm doing great. Now, what you see on my table is some model forms that's used in art and practicing drawing and shading. And these are major forms that you find in art that's practiced as part of constructive drawing. And if you probably remember from my video, just recent video showing what I purchased myself for Christmas. In a way, when I got those, it's not only for me to help practice, but also help with this video. Today's video, we're going to go into forms used in art and practicing. And before I get to that, we're going to have to talk about pencils, because that's going to be part of what's known as putting in the values. Also, people refer to it as shading. There's various types of shading. It depends a lot on what medium you're using or what you prefer. What I'm going to be using in this series is essentially a blend or a smooth gradient type of shading or rendering of a value to show turning a shape into a form. In other words, turning something that is flat in 2D, like a circle, and having it appear like a sphere, which is a form. These forms here is an example of what is referred to by drawing instructors and drawing professionals as your friends. They are the three major forms when you do constructive drawing, and that is the sphere, the square, which a close relative is the rectangle, and the cylinder. As an example of additional possible shading techniques, here's an example. It's not comprehensive by any means, which is you have the smooth blend, the stippling, also known as pointillism. As you see, the density of the dots will impart as to how dark the object is in that area, giving you that rendering of value. Here's hatching. Technically, with it being curved like that, that's considered contour hatching. People with purists saying regular hatching is just straight lines. It again uses the density of line as a way of showing how dark an object is in an area versus how light it is. And then here's cross hatching. And again, here it's a contour cross hatch, or if you use the straight lines going either way, that's your regular cross hatch. There's other techniques such as scumbling, circulars. You can look it up. The biggest ones who use all this is where you're using a black and white medium such as pen and ink. So check out that reference. You can use the same technique using pencil. That's up to you and your preferences. Now, speaking of pencils, I think the next thing we need to review is what options do you have. And what we have here is a standard pencil scale. Some will go 9B to 9H and just straight graphite. There's some others where you have a combination of carbon and graphite, and it can go higher. The one I'm thinking of is the Faber-Castell matte. And in reality, the grayscale using that pencil line is different than what they use for the regular pencil line, because what they are labeling as 14B, I don't see it as being that many steps above an 8B. That's me. And that brings up another point. On this pencil scale, this top one is the main one that's now adopted pretty much throughout the world. It is not standardized, meaning it can change from manufacturer to manufacturer. The biggest thing is you want to get a quality pencil, and you want to swatch out your pencils and make sure you have even steps in between each of the grades. If you start going from a 2H and the next step you take to an H actually jumps you down to an HB, when you start to have those different variations, that's where it can throw you off. So be sure you get a good quality pencil and do swatch them out and check them. Some of the pencil examples. Now, I really did like a couple sets I had that was super nice. One I bought myself and one that was given to me. The one set was from a Derwent drawing. It was really nice. It kind of disappeared with the movers. So I really don't have a set to show you from them. Because after that I went, well, I still have quite a few pencils. Let me use them up and then I can start restocking. Another set I had was Musgrave. And I love the Musgrave. They're made in Tennessee, nice quality cedarwood pencil grade. And they disappeared. I'm upset about that, but well, that could be rectified in the future, assuming they're still being made. Hopefully that will be the case. Some of the examples I do have, besides the pencils I'm using, which I have over here in a tray, I'll show you in a minute. These are some I had that wasn't taken, and this one I actually got on sale. It was super. I'm not going to open this up because I'd have to cut the plastic, so I'm just showing you. This is a nice, which will have all this here. I believe it goes to 6H into 6B. Yeah. So that's a very nice one. Sometimes you'll end up with, this would be like a technical architect scale. If you go with the art scale, you go up to maybe a 2H, 4H, and all the way down to an 8 to 9B. So when you buy a 12 set, be sure which one you're getting, and it's the one that you want. Now the wolf, you know, if you listen to any of my videos, I did speak, I believe, briefly that I love my wolf carbon pencils. And there was a special where you could get the carbon pencils and then you got this graphite sketch set. What made this unique and something I wanted was because you got a block of carbon that you could use like a graphite block. I don't like that graphite block or a block. I don't like charcoal. I like the carbon black. I could not find, looking on the internet anywhere, where I could just buy a box of the carbon blocks. Maybe that will change in the future. Hopefully that will be the case. But it was a nice set. It all came at a really nice price. I got my carbon pencils. I love using so much. It is a very nice set. It goes up to HB and down. So if you use that and want to use all the pencil grades to do your value scale, I would think you would need to add a 2H. That's me. Still, these are actually now made by Derwent. Wolf pencils have been under the umbrella of Derwent for a long time. They're high quality pencils. Here, I'm actually using up another credit color graphite set, which was the 12 color set. It ranged from 2H down to 9B. And this one here, colors, and this would be perfect set as well. You'll have one extra, I think. It was, you go from the 2H, and then you step down through like an HB, 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, which would be perfect to use for this type of situation of practicing rendering tonal values on a blended gradient. So you can also get this type of set in the Statler. You can also get it in the Derwent. So check them out. Just make sure you get a nice quality pencil. And now we can go to looking at how to use this. And for that, the first thing you can practice is, and what I've been starting to practice again, is pencil control on how to shade. And I do that by setting up a value scale. I'm practicing that. There's various references out there that you can use. This is one I put together. I will have this on my community page that you can download, or you can go to my Facebook page, The Bicycle Lady. You may have seen these. Now this will yellow, so if you get it out of the store, make sure it hasn't sat in the store too long. As you can tell, this white is much whiter than this paper. And the interesting thing I found, and when you look at them, Here's the white. Look at the second one. They're very, very close, just a hair difference. Still, they're both very, very good to use as references. Choose one and use one exclusively is what I would suggest. And when you do the practice on creating the value scale, keep in mind this is plain paper, so nothing goes onto this as your white. And then this would be your absolute black. And take out your pencils. Now, I know there's going to be naysayers saying, oh, you shouldn't be using so many grades of pencils. That's not a real artist. You should only use one grade and just lighten your touch. Frankly, okay, let me take a very dark pencil. Let's say I choose the one pencil I want to use is 600 nits. And I'm going to run it as light as possible. You're probably not going to see much. I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Just barely touching the paper. It's not going to be the right color. It's going to be slightly darker, just a hair darker. Very close, but a hair darker. So why go through all that when you have tools that are not expensive that you can easily use? Now, if you don't want to use that many, you probably could get by with 3 colors. The 3 colors I probably would choose would be a 2H, either HB or B, probably HB, 2B, and a 4B. I have these other colors. I'm going to use them up, so I'm going to use them. I have them in this little tray so they don't roll around. And right now, what I would use on this one would be a 2H. Let me see. You could also, you can very lightly use a 2H, but you can also use a 4H. Now, this is one of the few Derwent graphite pencils I still have left, which is 4H. You don't use it hardly that much. And you can definitely get a nice coverage, get a nice even tone, and still be at the right level and value for this step in a value scale. Now, some people will call this step 0, and this is 10. I've also seen this called 10. Some will say this is 1. Well, whatever. The second step up from white, which is your lightest value, would be this. And you can just very lightly drag your pencil across and get a nice even tone. Now, I could get that a little bit more even through some circular and so forth. And that's a 4H. So I would mark this down for my own reference as a 4H. The next one here could be a combination of, but I usually just would use the next step a 2H here. And then I would go across and use a circular motion up and down, different directions. It would take a couple layers. And as you can see, I'm getting to that. From here to there, as you can see. Or if you want to use your reference, let me grab the color wheel. And let's take a look. See, I'm pretty much there already. Here's the white, 2, the 3. Or I should say this is 0, 1, 2. And there we got it. So that's 2H. And normally on this one here, I make it a combination of a 2H and an HB. So did I skip over some grades? Yeah, I did. Where's my HB? And Here's the HB. So as you see, it very quickly on the second layer will be the value that you're looking for in your value scale. So that's a 2H plus HB. The next one would be straight HB. And that would be at least 2 layers to get that color. And some circular motions to even everything out. Because you don't want to see the end. And I would probably spend just a bit more time on that. But I'm not going to do that with everything. So there you got your up to there, and that would be HB. Now here you could be a light layer of HB, then 2B, and then just a straight 2B, a light 4B, a darker 4B, then an 8B or 6B combined with what I use combined with that is normally a combination of a carbon graphite pencil that I like. And there's several ones on the market. I don't like the Faber-Castell. They're not that dark. This is a General Pencil Kimberly 9XXB. I do like those. I have stocked them up. Someone said they might not be making them anymore, but I don't think that is the case because I've seen them offered. So that is a great pencil to get the absolute dark. You can also put down a layer of graphite and then use a wolf carbon pencil on top of it. Statler, or Stadler I should say, has a excellent Lumograph Black Matte, which is again a graphite carbon combination, but it seems to be more carbon than the Faber-Castell, and you can get an excellent black with that as well with no shine. I'm going to continue to practice, get back into what pencil and what pressure will give me what laydown of value of graphite. And that way I'm better prepared to do blending and shading. The practice I'm going to be doing in blending and shading will be the geometric shapes or forms. I should say, not shapes. Shapes are 2D, like this circle. It's not the box, but it's a square here. When you put the different squares together and shade them, you turn them into a cube. And I'll be practicing that. There are several examples. As you can see here from before, I did get my wood forms, so I can just set them up with different light sources and look and do this from actual life, as well as you can just get references online as well. Maybe you might want to look at doing it both ways. I think that probably would be best. At least that is for me. And I'm going to be doing this for the next week. As well, I may jump in with a drawing exercise or two. We'll see how it goes. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Please, if you find this enjoyable, informative, please hit that like button, the thumbs up, as well as subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps me with YouTube. So until next time, you have a great day.